the Sistine Chapel stands ready. Within its hallowed walls, beneath Michelangelo's immortal ceiling, 133 cardinals will soon gather in one of the Church's most sacred traditions. On May 7, 2025, the conclave to elect the 267th successor to St. Peter begins. Images released by the Holy See Press Office reveal the transformation of this artistic treasure into the most sacred voting chamber on earth. Simple wooden tables arranged in perfect rows. Each seat designated for a cardinal elector who carries the weight of history on his shoulders. A small wooden altar stands ready to receive the most consequential votes in Christendom, but most telling is what now sits atop the chapel's ancient roof, the chimney through which God's will shall be revealed to the waiting world. Vatican fire brigades have carefully installed this humble metal pipe that will speak volumes with simple puffs of smoke. Black when the Holy Spirit's choice remains unclear. White when heaven's selection is made manifest. This is no ordinary election. This ancient ritual, whose name conclave comes from Latin meaning with a key, speaks to its sacred isolation. These princes of the Church will be locked away from worldly concerns, cut off from outside influence, no phones, no internet, no distractions. Their sole focus, discerning God's will for His Church on earth. On the morning of May 7th at precisely 10 a.m., the cardinals will gather in St. Peter's Basilica for the solemn Pro Elegendo Romano Pontifex Mass, praying for divine guidance in electing the Roman pontiff. Countless faithful around the world will join their prayers, hearts united in supplication for the Holy Spirit's intervention. The true journey begins at 4:30 that afternoon. The cardinals will gather in the Pauline Chapel, their voices joining in the ancient litany of saints, calling upon heaven's court to intercede in this momentous task. Then, in solemn procession, they will walk to the Sistine Chapel, each step carrying the prayers and hopes of 1.3 billion Catholics worldwide. On the morning of May 7th at precisely 10 a.m., the cardinals will gather in St. Peter's Basilica for the solemn Pro Elegendo Romano Pontifex Mass, praying for divine guidance in electing the Roman pontiff. Countless faithful around the world will join their prayers, hearts united in supplication for the Holy Spirit's intervention. The true journey begins at 4:30 that afternoon. The cardinals will gather in the Pauline Chapel, their voices joining in the ancient litany of saints, calling upon heaven's court to intercede in this momentous task. Then, in solemn procession, they will walk to the Sistine Chapel, each step carrying the prayers and hopes of 1.3 billion Catholics worldwide. That first evening, May 7th, the first ballot will be cast. Each cardinal, alone with his conscience before God, will write the name of the man he believes should lead Christ's Church. One by one, they will approach the altar, holding their folded ballots high, swearing before Christ, who will be their judge, that their vote reflects God's will alone. If no cardinal receives the necessary 2/3 majority, 89 votes, black smoke will rise from the chapel chimney. The faithful waiting in St. Peter's Square will see and understand. Keep praying. The Spirit is still moving. In the days that follow, these shepherds of souls will vote 4 times daily, twice in the morning, twice in the afternoon. Each ballot burned afterward. Each prayer offered anew. Each conscience examined before God, and then, perhaps after hours, perhaps after days, a moment will come that transcends time itself. A cardinal will reach the threshold. The dean will approach him with the world-changing question: do you accept your canonical election as Supreme Pontiff? With his acceptance, a transformation occurs. No longer cardinal, but Holy Father. No longer his own, but belonging to the Church. He will choose a new name, signifying this divine rebirth into the unbroken chain stretching back to Peter himself. Outside in St. Peter's Square, thousands will watch with bated breath, eyes fixed on that small chimney, hearts pounding in anticipation. Then, white smoke, rising like incense to heaven. Church bells across Rome breaking into joyous pealing. The crowd erupting in tears and embraces as the senior cardinal deacon steps onto the balcony with those electrifying words: Annuncio vobis gaudium magnum, habemus papam. I announce to you a great joy, we have a pope. Moments later, he will appear, the 267th link in an unbroken chain from Jesus Christ's own command to Peter, feed my lambs. Dressed in white, symbolizing divine purity, he will raise his hands in his first blessing, Urbi et Orbi, to the city and to the world. In that sacred moment, an unbreakable thread will connect the faithful to the upper room where Jesus broke bread with his disciples, to the shore of Galilee where he commanded Peter to feed my sheep, to every triumph and trial of the Church's journey through time. As we await that puff of white smoke, as we watch these ancient traditions unfold before our eyes, we witness not merely history, but eternity breaking into time. The hand of God guiding His church. The promise of Christ fulfilled, the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. In the Sistine Chapel, prepared now for this most sacred duty, heaven and earth will meet. And the 267th successor to the fisherman will be revealed to a waiting world.